This is the Nation's Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. Sheeple, sheeple on the wall. Who's the most clueless of them all? Well, it's starting to appear as if the conservatives are actually the most clueless ones. Because if you haven't heard, Donald Trump has appointed Dr. Oz to a key position in his new administration. He will be working very closely with RFK. And why is that important? Well, Dr. Oz will be involved with Medicaid and Medicare, but really just the medicine in general. So why am I calling all the conservatives clueless? Well, it's amazing how these people could just align themselves with the party, and all of a sudden, everybody forgets about the stuff they've said in the past. Everybody forgets about the deeds they've done in the past. Kind of like Donald Trump, how he was always a Democrat, and he was always aligned with Satanists like Oprah Winfrey. And then all of a sudden he decides one day he's a conservative. So everybody with conservative values, instead of saying, you're not one of us, you don't believe in the King of Kings, Jesus Christ, you don't believe in the same values as us, because you both believe and talk about how you support people who go to Planned Parenthood. But all it takes for them is to hear them say, hey, I'm one of you. And they accept them into the flock because they're of the same hive mind as the Democrats. So Dr. Oz, the thing they have in common, of course, is they're pretending to be conservatives. They're both very close with Oprah Winfrey. And Donald Trump, if you don't remember, is the one responsible for Operation Warp Speed, you know, the beginning of the process of depopulating the United States of America. In fact, the entire Earth, right? Donald Trump was the one who rolled out Operation Warp Speed, but conveniently these people refuse to remember that. In fact, when you bring it up to them, they just roll their eyes and tell you that he didn't know, he did his best, because they apparently like to be duped. So if you don't remember, I've covered Dr. Oz in the past on my channel, but I don't expect anyone out there to remember, because when you get wiped off the web, well, it's hard to have people actually find your content and remember your content. But Dr. Oz has openly been somebody who I've covered way before the outbreak, because Dr. Oz was trying to do the same thing before the outbreak that everybody, including Donald Trump, tried to do during the outbreak. And that was get something inside of your body. So before the outbreak occurred, I was calling Dr. Oz out, just like Bill Gates, just like all of these psychopaths who are trying to get you to go and get this thing for the flu put inside your body. That's right, this thing for the flu that they don't talk too much about anymore, because of course the flu and then the other thing are one in the same. You got a cough, you got a sniffle, they want you to go put stuff inside your body. And you may remember this clip I'm about to play for you, where Dr. Oz was talking about herd immunity on his show very early on, but he also was talking about how he is Dr. Oz on TV and during the day, but when he goes home at night, he's Father Oz. He's a dad and a husband. And well, while he's telling you on TV that you should go and you should go get your flu shot, he would never, ever, ever allow his wife or his children to get it. You know, he sounds like the kind of guy we can trust, right?
You are telling a mother who is trying to decide myself whether to get my kids vaccinated when the time comes. And I'm reading this, 51% of parents, only 51% are absolutely certain. I'll be honest, I'm in that 50% that isn't absolutely certain. So how do you convince me? How do you convince the other parents out there that we need to do this?
Careful, I'm going to get it,
yeah,
if that helps at all. But I'll tell you, my wife is not getting immunized her kids. Because I've got 4 of them, and when I go home, I'm not Dr. Oz, I'm Mr. Oz.
So again, Dr. Oz telling you one thing and then doing another. Amazing then how they could say these things and flip-flop and nobody pays attention to it. Maybe because a lot of these videos have been scrubbed off of the internet. But for people out there that didn't know, Dr. Oz was trying to get you to go bring your kids to the doctor to make sure that you and your kids didn't get the flu. But he would never do that to his own kids. So his recommendation, I mean, imagine you went to the doctor's office and the doctor told you to get your 5-year-old to go and line up at Walgreens or CVS to get this put in his body. And then you asked him, he said, well, you did it to your kids? And he says, oh, absolutely not. I never would in a million years. Wouldn't you just go, oh, what? Well, of course, in today's world, nobody's thinking. There's nothing processing inside of their head, so they're not connecting the dots on situations like that. When a doctor, a television doctor, or their own doctor tells you to go do something to your kids but wouldn't do it to their own kids. So it makes perfect sense that Dr. Oz is now aligned with RFK and the innovation RX, right? Because don't you see what they're about to do? They're about to tell you that they're cleaning up Big Pharma. They're about to tell you that you need to trust medicine, but we obviously couldn't trust what happened last time, even though Donald Trump was the one who rolled all of it out. So now we're going to clean up the medicine industry, the pharma, Big Pharma. We're going to make things better. We're going to clean up what the chemicals are getting put in your food, even though people like RFK are posing eating McDonald's. I mean, it's laughable, right? It's laughable how these conservatives don't realize how they've been worked into this, and they can now turn a blind eye to all of these demons who are now pretending to be conservative. I mean, it's pretty funny. Elon Musk even tweeted out, retweeted, I should say, someone posting the Democrats won the election, a picture of Trump and Musk and RFK, and he said some deep truths here, right? I mean, the truth couldn't be more in your face that these people are all working together, and all it takes is for them to cross the picket line, so to speak, and pretend that they're working for the other political party to convince you to do what ultimately all of these globalists want, which is to get something inside of your body. Which brings me to my favorite Dr. Oz clip. You know, Dr. Oz, the conservative here, who is MAGA, who's conservative all of a sudden. Here's a clip from the Dr. Oz show. He talks about how neat and how cool a microchip implant is about 10 years ago. And of course, the microchip implant doesn't really look like what Dr. Oz is presenting here because it's so tiny now that you can't actually even see it with the visible eye. So it might look like a grain of rice back then, but now, guess what? It's so small that they can actually put it in stuff that, well, they can just automatically shoot into you.
The latest breakthroughs. Turns out one of the biggest discoveries is actually this tiny. How small that is. This little chip may be the next big thing. And it sounds like it's right from a sci-fi movie, but people all over the world are implanting these into their wrists.
This tiny chip, which can be implanted into your wrist, yes, I did say wrist, uses short-range radio frequency identification, similar to the tech used to track your pets or your phone. Once implanted in your body, it could identify you as you pass through the airport, open the door to your home. It could even be used to buy groceries at the supermarket. Now, your driver's license, passport, keys, and wallet are all inside your body, contained in something the size of a grain of rice.
So it's incredible, right? Dr. Oz, now a conservative, everybody's on board, all the conservatives and Christians support him because all he has to do is stand next to Donald Trump, and then they ignore all the things from his past, right? Telling you that you need to get this put in your kids, even though he wouldn't put it in his own kids. He's pushing the microchip, literally pushing the microchip on his television show, telling you how cool and neat it would be to be able to be followed and monitored by your government, like a dog, right? They compared to the microchipping of dogs. And of course, what else do we see with Dr. Oz? Well, Dr. Oz is a good friend and associate of Marina Abramovich. You know, the same Marina Abramovich, the witch. This is, by the way, not one photo of them together. They've been together countless times, Marina Abramovich and Dr. Oz, out in public, right? Taking photos, posing together. Marina Abramovich, if you don't know, the witch Marina Abramovich, who is best known for being a witch, who openly admits to being a witch, who's involved in spirit cooking and other things that you're not allowed to talk about anymore on the internet. You know, the same Marina Abramovich who's posed on magazine covers where we're supposed to see something like this and think it's artistic when it couldn't be more disturbing if you actually know what Marina Abramovich is involved in, right? Marina Abramovich having these big events that all these celebrities attend where they're literally performing cannibalistic rituals. We've seen Marilyn Manson even copy Marina Abramovich, right, with this little pose there. I mean, this isn't satanic, folks. This is art, right? She just loves a decapitated goat head, right? And so does Marilyn Manson with his one eye symbolism. There's nothing to it. And there's nothing to it when Marina poses with Lord Rothschild in front of a painting called Summoning Satan, right? These are all coincidence. Same with Jay-Z and Marina Abramovich being associated with each other. Or Lady Gaga and Marina Abramovich being associated with one another. And Marina Abramovich is close with all of the celebrities in Hollywood and all of the politicians and all of these prominent people in positions of power and corporations because Marina Abramovich is pretty much their go-to witch. And if you didn't hear recently, in the last couple of years, Marina Abramovich has been interviewed and been on shows countless times where Marina has talked about how Donald Trump is the magician of the highest order and the magician who's going to cause the mass awakening. But the mass awakening is not what these conservative Christians think it actually is. It's actually the bringing about of the Antichrist and this entire Antichrist movement that we're going to see in the name of love and compassion, of course, because order out of chaos is the name of the game. Here's Marina.
You know, I just to share with you one really funny opinion, but there is in Lapland there is a group of the shamans there who do something called collective dreaming. They will go together in seclusion and do the rituals with eating very little food and being in solitude for a long time, and they will go and dream the dreams. And the dream have to be quality same dream. So coming out of this dream, this once the shaman told me that actually the best thing happened in this planet right now is the Trump to be the president. I said, how is this possible? It's the best thing to happen. He said, yes, because he's so irrational, he's so crazy. That's actually create that awakening that we finally wake up. Because before it would be another guy and everything was similar. But he's so different than anything else. So he's the magician who waking us up. Trump is the best thing happened ever to us. That he is the magician of the highest order. That he is there in his irrational mind to create confusion in order with the human being to find new order. And you know, it's not so stupid thinking about this in that way. It's completely turning things upside down.
So Marina, Trump, Dr. Oz, it all seems like a good thing, right? I mean, Dr. Oz can be trusted, RFK can be trusted. Remember when RFK talked about how anybody out there who questioned what was going on with the climate should be thrown in jail? So if you go up to somebody who is complaining about climate change and you explain to them actually about weather modification and geoengineering, you should be thrown in prison is pretty much what he's saying. So we can trust all these guys. I mean, it really is summed up best by the tweet by Elon Musk, where somebody says the Democrats did win the election, and he says there's some deep truths here, right? Because all they are actors pretending to be conservatives, and all they've done is prevent a real revolution, and they are going to deceive and trick Christians into everything you can imagine. All of a sudden, all these Christians who are anti-potion will become pro-potion because they're going to get fed propaganda about how getting this in your body now is safe. It's been tested. It can be trusted. Everybody needs to get it. We can trust Trump. Trump greenlit. Don't forget about Operation Warp Speed, how he was the one responsible for it in the first place. And we'll hear about how RFK, despite eating McDonald's, is now taking care of the CDC and the FDA, and he's making sure that food is actually healthy while he's literally eating human meat. Yeah, sure, they can be trusted. I mean, were you born yesterday? You got to have been born yesterday if you think that these people are on your side and these people are actually going to save the day. They're all connected to the same stuff. Dr. Oz telling you, hey, you need to go and get this, but I wouldn't give it to my own kids, and laughs about it as if like that's an insane notion. I'm on TV telling everybody out there to go and poison their kids, but I'd never poison my own. How dare you even ask me that? Dr. Oz telling everyone, hey, we should all get chips inside of our bodies so we can be tagged and monitored like dogs. Yeah, these are the types of people we need in Congress, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Of course he's aligned with Donald Trump because they're all aligned with each other. They're working you. And sooner or later, most of these conservative Christians are going to wake up and it's going to be too late. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.